In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Google Pixel 6a and the Nothing Phone 1. I'm going to start this off by saying that this comparison is really going to come down to pure personal preference, and everything that I say is based on my personal experience and opinions. Let's go ahead and get the spec sheet comparison out of the way for the spec heads out there. Here you go. Now, I do want to take this time to remind you that what's on paper is only part of the story when it comes to tech, and you should not let specifications determine a phone single-handedly. There's more to these things than just specs. Anyway, it goes without saying that the Phone 1 is the flashier of the two. I mean, just look at it. This is unlike anything we've seen this year, and with the light show this thing can put on, it quite literally adds a wow factor, as well as some pretty neat features the software takes advantage of that other phones just don't have. Even without the lights, it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, or something out of the 90s. In addition to that, it's got a larger, smoother, better looking display with thinner, symmetrical bezels, and it even comes packed with wireless and reverse wireless charging. A few things the 6a lacks. The overall aesthetic of the Phone 1 definitely wins the cool and premium look categories here, but honestly, the 6a's smaller footprint along with its rounded edges compared to the Phone 1's completely flat edges makes for a more comfortable and manageable feel in the hand. Pair that with tighter haptics, a higher IP rating for dust and water resistance, a fingerprint sensor placed in a much better spot, and a specific set of build materials, and you've got a rock solid phone that I personally love hanging on to more than just about any other phone out at the moment, although I do prefer the button placement on the Phone 1. When it comes to other intangibles, both fingerprint sensors are fine, not great. It's kind of hard to give either one the edge here. It's honestly a bit of a toss-up. Sometimes one is faster and more consistent than the other. If anything, the 6a's recognizes a tad faster, but nothing super significant. Like I said, they're both fine, not great. I will give the 6a's speakers the upper hand. They sound richer, fuller, and warmer, even at the risk of sounding a bit muddy with more low end, but I'll definitely take them over the Phone 1's set, with them sounding more on the lighter and tinny side of things. Just want to take a quick sec to thank NordVPN for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. If you value your internet security, you're going to want to listen up. It's pretty safe to say you wouldn't want anyone, and I mean anyone, collecting your data and tracking your activity wherever you are. We use the internet a lot, and NordVPN provides peace of mind knowing that traffic is encrypted and you'll be protected from malware. It's also a great tool to use if you want to access movies, TV shows, and other content not available in your country, and they even have a password manager and secure cloud storage. So check out the very first link below and use code APVPN to get a 2-year plan plus an extra 4 free months for less than the price of a coffee per month. Crazy, right? And you're not going to want to miss out on this. When it comes to software, both UIs are clean and free of unnecessary bloat. They have their own unique visual elements that give them their identity, with the 6a currently running pixelized Android 13, the latest and greatest, and the Phone 1 running a modified version of stock Android 12 with the latest version of Nothing OS on top. And both have standout features. The Phone 1 has a dedicated gaming mode, the ability to change the icon pack on the home screen, an experimental feature that lets you control your Tesla natively. The latest update brought over the adaptive battery feature the Pixel has, which is nice to see, and of course, the glyph interface customization, allowing you to tweak how the lights look and operate in tandem with calls, notifications, and charging. The Pixel comes packed with the features we know and love, like Now Playing, call screening, call assistant, hold for me, live translation, live transcribe, magic eraser, and more. It's pretty clear the 6a has more quality of life stuff you really won't find elsewhere, and Android 13 on its own has been a big breath of fresh air for Pixel users in general. You'll always be first in line to receive new updates too, with 5 years of monthly security patches. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the Phone 1 won't be getting Android 13 until next year, 2023, so that is definitely a bummer, but it is slated to get up to Android 15 just like the 6a. But with semi-regular security updates for 4 years. I believe that'll be on a bi-monthly basis. Either way, both of these phones received updates recently that have improved user experience and squashed a good amount of bugs, so thumbs up for that. The overall power of the 6A's software is seen on the camera side of things too, of course. Now, the Phone 1 has the newer and technically better camera hardware, and each sensor sports a higher megapixel count. But it's that image processing and sensor familiarity that helps the 6A knock out the Phone 1 in overall camera performance, from regular stills, selfies, moving subjects to portrait shots and video. Low light results is where the two camera sets do get a bit closer, and the ability to use the glyph lights as a fill light, as well as there being an actual pro mode baked in, definitely helped the Phone 1's case. But if I had to choose a winner, 6A all day. It is really good to see Nothing push out updates to improve the camera experience though, and so far the most recent update has helped pretty significantly. Honestly, the cameras here are pretty solid on their own. Moving on to performance and battery life, both devices are quick, they're smooth, and powerful enough to handle any set of daily tasks. While the 6A does have the higher end Tensor chip, the Phone 1 does come with more RAM, and there's a variant that has double the 6A's RAM and storage too for that matter. Now you can go ahead and get into a Snapdragon 778 Plus versus Google Tensor debate all day if you want, but in everyday use, they're both solid chipsets, they do what they're supposed to do, the phones do get quite warm during heavy use, and in my experience I haven't really noticed much that would make me say, oh, this processor just completely destroys the other one or something, but I will give the edge to the Tensor chip for high-end gaming performance, longevity, as well as unlocking the door for those great features the Pixel has and will get down the road. Now, battery life on both has been pretty solid, and I'm able to get through a full day's use on a single charge with either one, no problem. I can get 6 hours of screen on time pretty easily. Now, in my testing, battery results were very close, and honestly, it was a little difficult finding which is better. Endurance and efficiency-wise, I'll give it to the 6A. Having a smaller 60Hz panel does help, and battery droppage and standby appears to be better as well. Now that's not to say it's miles better than what I've gotten on the Phone 1, and of course you can drop the refresh rate down to 60Hz if you'd like to help with battery. Now when it comes to charging the two, the Phone 1 does take the dub here with its 33-watt charging, which nearly doubles what the 6A has, and as mentioned earlier, the Phone 1 can wirelessly charge other devices, and its standard wireless charging rate is almost as fast as the 6A's regular wired charging speed, which is kind of funny to think about. So which phone is better? Well, they're both good phones, and like I said, this boils down to personal preference and what you need out of a phone. The Nothing phone is just cooler, and it covers more ground in terms of certain categories with a higher refresh rate display, a pro mode in the camera app, faster charging, and wireless charging. It's impressive for a first generation device, and it's going to be interesting seeing where Nothing takes it. Whereas the 6A is the more refined and perhaps practical option, getting the basics nailed down better than most phones in this price range. And it comes with a set of unique features that enhance day-to-day use and make life easier. It's probably the better long-term choice too. You also have to keep pricing and availability in mind when considering these two, as pricing changes depending on what region you're in, and well, the Phone 1 isn't even readily available if you're in the US, so it may not make much sense importing one due to extra costs and of course, carrier coverage. These are also not the only game in town. There are lots of other great options in this tier, but I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on which one out of these two would be your pick. Let's talk about it in the comments. Hope you found this video to be helpful. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and sub to the Android Police channel if you're new. It's been Zach, I'll talk to you later, and thanks for watching.